Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. I'm joined as always by our other host, Mr. Corey C.
We blessed. I just so happen to work hard.
Ooh, right now. If there's something in your life that you want to change, commit today and stop wasting
Get 1%
time.
better every single day and do something positive.
We want you to go out and get it. If you don't live by nothing else, live by 2 R's. You either got reasons or you got results. Choose which one you have in your life today. Welcome to another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be. I got my main man with me, Mr. Corey Sigu. How's it going, Corey?
Oh, man, I'm back in action, man. I didn't get a chance to hop on last week, but I'm back in action this week.
Absolutely. Corey, we're at the end of the quarter, end of Q1, and we've seen a lot of stuff on Facebook going on. This whole situation about Mr. Jackson, I think that's his name. That's one thing. And there's various other things. So, I thought, and when we were discussing what we were going to talk about, when being the guru goes wrong. And that's kind of our topic for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, when being the guru goes wrong. So, Corey, jump right in there and tell me what you've seen and your initial thoughts to this thing.
Yeah, man. So, and I guess we could start off with the Derrick Jackson guy. Like, I hadn't seen very much of him. But when I did start to see the stuff that he was talking about, if y'all have ever seen Kevin Samuel before or heard of him, he's like a lifestyle coach or something like that. He's like the opposite of him, right? A lot of stuff of what I got from him, just in a couple videos that I watched, it's a lot of empowerment. I don't have any problem with that, but it's a lot of tearing down on the other side of men and all this other stuff just to empower women. And I was like, yeah, you can miss me with that. I'm all for the women's empowerment, but you don't have to tear people down while doing it. And I brought Kevin Samuels into it because although he has a very direct way of approaching stuff, a lot of the stuff that, he brings up is at the end of the day, whether you agree with it or not, it's being accountable to yourself. And so, yeah, man, I just think that this is the perfect time to talk about, like, when being the guru goes wrong. Like, it's this man says that this is the stuff that you should do, and men are dogs because they're doing all this stuff with women, and you married and all that stuff. And then guess what happens? It's just, man, it's unfortunate, but let's dive into it, man. What's your thoughts on I guess that, and then we can dive into really when being the guru goes wrong, because it's not just him. It's a lot of people out there like that.
Right. And in a lot of different industries, and we'll just gloss over several of them and deep dive into it. But, I've seen one or two of his videos pop up. For me, like you said, when you start talking one thing, empowering, and that's great. But then when you start tearing down the opposite side, not really encouraging, because I think some of his stuff wasn't even like reconciliation. It was like, kick them out, kick them to the curb, blah, blah, blah. You don't deserve it. So I'm thinking, he being really negative. And how does he know, like you said, Corey, how does he know so much about different women, different where they are, what areas they are? How does he know all this information? And I was always taught growing up, when somebody talk fast, really fast, you can't trust them. And so I'm like, yeah, I don't believe this dude. I don't need to listen to him anyway, because I wasn't his target audience. But when it came back around and this started popping back up, I'm like, this is crazy. Not only did hit the fan with him, he brings his wife on the video to talk about it. And I get it. I get that you may want to air some things out, especially if you live your life in front of social media, then you want to feel like you got to air it out on social media. But they should have known better. One, that social media is going to tear you down, because you went against everything that you was talking about. You did the very thing that you said that just should be, castration, everything he was talking about. You went against all of that. And then I could keep on talking, Corey, with this, because then they start bringing the Bible into it and the spirits. And it's like, So now you want to blame the devil. No, blame yourself and work on getting better. If you guys are really getting better, do that in private. Let the stuff blow over. I, honestly, he got a book coming out. Every time some controversy happen, it help your product sell. I don't know if that's their intention, but that feeling deep down inside of me saying, especially the way she was like, "Oh, I've been knew about this. We've handled this. We moved on. What y'all talking about it for then? Why even address it if you good at home? Why address it in the open other than getting that book sold?" Which
Mm-hmm.
talking about, I think, reconciliation and healing, and now he talking about healing and reconciliation when before he was talking about cutting loose and just moving on. And so, just watching the videos pop out, seeing him do a third person video of himself, I'm like, okay, I know you do the third person videos of other people videos and they mess, but you're doing it of yourself now. I think it just went a little bit too far. And I think that's what really gets into the when being the guru goes wrong. When being the one who's supposed to be the know all, be all, end all with the best information, the best advice, when it goes wrong.
Yeah, man. And to be honest with you, something you said that he did a third person video of himself. Like what I saw was it's like real narcissistic behavior. Like people who like you need to go on the internet and talk about yourself. Like, and even in that video he had, with him and his wife, it was a lot about, man, I own up to it and all this and that. But I'm really big on body language and energy, and you could just tell in the room like something wasn't even right there. One of my friends said that's the look that you get when you already got the U-Haul pack. I was like, but and
Get
then you brought up another part I didn't even think about. See, you said if it happened already, then what we talking about it for? Because if you right within your household, then what do I need to address it for? You could just come out with a simple statement, say, hey, we've worked through it. This is something that happened in the past. Me and my wife have already discussed this and we're over it. So congratulations, internet. Like you can do whatever you want with it after that. But it's like when you give those situations power, people run with it. Man, it's amazing how, and like you said, now there's a book coming out, right? She making videos now talking about she got the helmet of salvation on. Like, at what point are we trying to make this like the what they call it, the dog and pony show, where you just trying to show and get the people all excited about whatever. That way you can capitalize on it, man. I just think that there's some principles in this that we can take away, because a lot of people, you're going to be listening to this and you're saying, man, I listen to the empowerment platform. I want to build a business. I want to build a brand. I want to build a better me. Right. But at the end of the day, like you have to walk what you talk. Like you can't just, man, men shouldn't do this and that, or women shouldn't do this and that, and then you doing it. But you know what, Tyrus, I want to ask this question first. What's the number one principle that you pulled away from this whole ordeal, and then we can dive into the actual nitty gritty of like when being the guru goes wrong?
The number one principle I pulled from this was being accountable and being upfront and honest without the extra stuff. So they say they had it cleared up. They've been through it. She knew, boom. But whenever pictures or whatever, one of the ladies that he had, messed around with, when they put that on social media, wherever it was, because I didn't see that part, I just saw the backlash. Whenever they broadcasted that out, he should have owned up to it, and like you said, made a simple statement of, this person's airing this out, but we have already settled it in the household, and just lay low. So let me change my principle. But my biggest takeaway and principle is, when things go wrong in your life, and they will, whether you do it maliciously or not, lay low.
Mm-hmm.
Be accountable, address the situation, and lay low. Because once you start going on there trying to defend yourself, even though you're not defending yourself, because he's not trying to defend himself saying that he did something or didn't do something. He's trying to spin it. And then they took it to another level when they talk about being spirit of this, or all this other kind of stuff, blaming the devil. Now you're taking away accountability. Oh, it ain't his fault. It's the devil's fault. The devil made it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't subscribe to that, because if that's the case, the devil can only be in one place at one time. He can't get around all over the world to make everybody do what they're doing. You did that. And I also like a post that I saw, Corey, where it said that people got to get, and women, especially when they go through situations like this, it doesn't absolve your husband of wrongdoing. They committed the act. They need to be accountable. Don't blame it on the devil. I think I seen the post. It was like, we're married, I cheated, we prayed, we blamed it on the devil, we happy, or something like that. It doesn't go that way. So own up to it, address it, and lay low. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, and I would say for me, it's like always understand it doesn't matter how big your brand is or how big you become. Like your character will never not be a factor in that, I guess you can say. Is because, and the reason I think about that is like I did a little bit digging, and he got a pretty big following. And it's people were looking for that success and we're looking for that opportunity. And you still have to be right within, right? And it's this man and in other brands that we're going to talk about, or things that we'll talk about, you talk about this thing, and man, I'm the guru, and I'm the, men shouldn't do this or whatever. And I'll even pivot, because we talking about that a whole bunch. Man, I can make you a 6-figure whatever.
Don't go there, Corey. You about to step on some toes.
But you ain't never made 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? In a corporate job or a business. So you're gonna teach somebody how to make 6 figures, or you're gonna teach somebody how to scale a business, but you've never scaled a business before, or you're gonna teach someone how to find self-love, but you have not found self-love, right? There's a lot of these coaches or businesses out here are preaching this, man, I can teach you how to do this in 30 days, but you've never done it in 30 days. And so that's the biggest thing for me, is like the character and the integrity behind who you are as a person. It's still never going to exceed what the brand is, I should say. Or I should say it should exceed what the brand is, because you're going to make the money. You're going to build a brand. You're going to build a following. But who you are, that's between you and you. And it don't matter what your followers take. If you're a terrible person behind the scenes, and both you and I have talked about knowing people like that, you're just a garbage person behind the scenes. I mean, what's that word, right? Now you're a public success and a private failure, because people don't want to hang around you. They only want to hang around you because you're beneficial to them. Like, nah, I want people to be around me because they're like, you know what? He brings a level of like peace or happiness or fun or something like that. Not just because if you hang around me, I can get you some money. So yeah, that's what did it for me.
I'm glad you brought that up, and we pivoting now. Because this is all. It's not about him. This whole thing is about when being the guru goes wrong, and we're gonna pivot to the coaching industry. And to Corey's point, you see all of these ads and all of these pictures and all these people that are doing super success. And what they do is they prey on you wanting to get to that standard or that level financially. And they prey on you. I can take you, I made 90,000 in 30 days. I made 100,000 in 30 days. I can show you how to do it if you come join my coaching program. And we never stop to even ask, can you show me some receipts? Can I see or speak to some of your clients that made that, not just that are in your program, because you might be giving awesome information, but can I speak to those clients who made that 100K? Can I speak to some? Can you show me? Real estate's another one. And I'm going to go to real estate. I want to stay on coaching though. When you find a coach or you want to coach, especially a high performance, they give them all these fancy names now. Start asking for receipts. Ask them, not, I don't want to see your plan, your blueprint. I want to see your bank account. Show me your bank statement. Well, I ain't showing nobody my bank statement. You ain't getting in my business. No, black out your account number and show me that you made 400,000 over the last 4 months if we doing 100K months. If you have done that, to me, Corey, and it might be a little bit different for different people. I don't even need to see testimonials at that point. I don't care about your other clients. If you can show me that you've done it, and maybe one other person done it behind you, then I can get behind it because I know it's real. What happens is most people make their money off of coaching other people that never succeed, that never get to the level they want to. And that's evident because after 10 years, most small businesses don't exist anymore. If all these people who were coaching were able to help everybody kill the game like that, then most of our small businesses would survive. That's logical. That ain't mythical. I'm not making that up. That just makes sense. And so for me, back to what Corey's talking about, integrity, character, a lot of coaches and just a lot of people in business don't have those principles. And so when they see that they fail in the product that they try to do, then they start coaching on that. It's amazing how many people send me LinkedIn invites so they can coach me on how to get more clients, coach me on how to market, coach me on how to be a coach, coach me on how to use a computer, coach me on how to use PowerPoint, all of that. Is there a place for coaching? Absolutely. Coach Rochelle T. Parks, for example. I looked at Coach Rochelle, I listened to her. I'm like, okay, she's talking about you can reverse diabetes, you can get off your blood pressure medicine, you can lose weight, you can reset your palate doing the fruit and veggie challenge. I'm like, okay. Then I started getting on some free calls she was doing. And every time she was on the call, she was working out. She was riding the bike. She was doing the push-ups, the 1 minute, 2 minute hits. And so I'm like, okay, this is a person I can get behind. This is a person's program that I can try. And when I tried it, I got results. Now I'm willing to pay to be in her community because it's real, not fluff. Her approach was real. It wasn't theoretical. And that's what a lot of people out there are paying for. You might be paying for it today, listening to somebody else. You're in a coaching program. All they're giving you is a theory, what it can be, how it could be, but you don't have any applicable steps to take to actually tie those things together. And that's how they wrap you up because they continue. Corey, I'm dismantling coaching today. They continue to give you the hopes and dreams and thoughts and wishes, but never tell you how to do it. And you keep paying, waiting for that to drop. Corey and I, 100% different. You come on a call with us, tell me your problem. I'm going to tell you some solutions, some things you can do today to do it, to fix it. I don't need to hold it back from you. If you can go and fix it, you go fix it. If you need more help, that's where we start coaching you to help walk you through the process. But we ain't holding nothing back. We no keeping no secrets. And I'm gonna turn it over to you, Corey, before we hit the other industries.
No, and that you're spot on with that, because I believe that if someone, like, especially when they come to you with the problem and and you're like, oh man, in theory you could do this or that, or whatever. If they, when they start doing stuff like that, that means you're not that deep, because you should just be able to give it away. And to be honest with you, that the part that people pay for is when they're like, I know you told me, I just can't get it done.
Bingo.
Or I know you told me, it just ain't quite worked like it did for you, so I need your help now. And so that's the thing, is like, to be honest with you, you should be working with a coach that says, okay, well, here's what you should do. Like, I'm not even worried about that, right? Here's what you should do. And then you go try to do it. And because you can identify in that moment, though, that you're like, man, I just can't get it done, then that's when you get the payment. But what, Tyrus, what a lot of people do is they say, man, it's a $99 call to kind of get a feel for you. And then it's then we get on the call and I tell you, well, have you tried XYZ, knowing that it's not going to work. And then you go try it and come back and say, nah, well, I need to be coaching now. Maybe we should call a podcast Dismantling Coaching, right?
Dismantling coach. No,
right.
The guru goes wrong when being goes wrong, because a lot of these people, put themselves up as guru coaches. I know it all. You come to my program, I'll turn you into X, Y, and Z. Corey, I see so many people that I know personally trying to coach other people, and they call other people to help them do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I can coach you on how to build this business to X amount. Hey, Tyrus,
Hey, can't.
I got this program out. Can you help me build it out? I'm like, but you already advertising that you got it and you building it.
Yeah.
What's the, like, be honest. You don't have to, and there may be different opinions. I know people say, well, you want to look the part. You want to, but what happens is, okay, look the part, but be able to do it too. Not look the part, and then when something happens or somebody calls you and you get an opportunity, now you ain't ready. And now you're trying to scramble. And that's where you get the bad reviews from. And that's what happens when people that you've seen killing the game disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Were they ever really killing the game? Or were they just saying it, wrapping people in, and then once it figured out, okay, this is trash, I didn't learn anything, I want my money back, and then they go away and disappear. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to just dismantle coaching. I want to build it back up right. My coach, one of my coaches that I had, whatever I asked him in our 30-minute phone call, he was able to give me a solution for. That's coaching. He didn't show me no pictures. He didn't sell me no dreams, no wolf tickets, no nothing. He said, "What's the issue?" I said, I'm trying to do X, Y, Z. Have you tried X, Y, or Z? Nope, I ain't tried that. Let me try it. Okay, let's talk next month once you go through that. That's a coach. Fitness coach. What are your goals? I want to lose 100 pounds. Over what amount of time? Over this? Okay. Over a
Let's
month.
go.
That ain't realistic. Over a year, that's realistic. Let's go. This is the plan. Not, well, you can have a body like mine if you do X, Y, Z on your own, and I'm not really going to watch you, but I'm going to charge you. So
Right.
let's get back to real coaching where it's about the person, the individual, and not about the coach trying to sound and look and be as professional, as good as they are. So like I told you probably a year ago, Corey, when I told people that I was coaching executives, and the guy was like, you can't be an executive coach. And I'm like, why not? Because you don't look like this. And he sent me a picture of a guy standing in front of a private plane. I can go get a stock photo if you want
Right.
to.
They got free 4K photos.
But what does that have to do with me providing value to specific people? I think, Corey, and then this goes back to, and I'm going to turn it back over to you. It goes back to our mental state as consumers, that we look at certain people in certain areas and we want what they have. So we believe that they're legit. We look at things as legitimacy, not the person or the individual. We look at the watch he got on, the clothes he got on, the house he's standing in front of, the car, where half the time they rent that stuff or they stand in front of somebody else's car. Truth. The other thing that really struck me, and I think it was, I know I heard it from, I can't remember his name. He's a financial advisor, but I know I heard it from Earn Your Leisure too. They said the people who come in their offices crying the most are the people who driving the Benzes. They got the big houses, but they broke. And they got all of that stuff just for show. And now you want that person to coach you to being broke, because that's what's going to happen. They're not going to coach you to 100K months. They're going to coach you on how to be broke, because that's what they are. And they're using your money to fund the lifestyle that they have. Get the receipts. Get the receipts.
Yeah, and you know, I do want to kind of pivot to like, how do you even become the guru, right? Like, but I think for me is, you know, you have these people, you have these coaches and these businesses that say, man, I'm going to help. Like, we look at the fitness industry, right? All personal trainers aren't built the same. And to be honest with you, is like I tell a lot of people, I'm like, do you have a really good personal trainer, or is it that you just pay attention to your lifestyle now, which is why did you want an accountability partner? Basically, it's not that he's good at what he's doing, or he or she or whoever. It's just that now you have someone holding you accountable, so now it changes. Like that. That's the part for me is, and this is something we were just talking about earlier. Did the person actually get better based on the information, or did the person get better just because of repetition?
Yep.
And that's where you have to start thinking to yourself, okay, well, maybe I'm trying to be better at, I don't know, marketing, for example, right? So then I got with this marketing coach, and this marketing coach says, you know what we're going to do? We're going to send out 10 emails a week or whatever. We're going to send some emails out and see where that gets you. And then so you start sending 10 emails out a week when you don't realize that you sent 0 out before that. So then you get 1 or 2 people and they're like, oh man, it works. It's so great. You paid for accountability. That's all it was. Right.
And to your point, and I'm gonna let you get right back into that, and that's okay, but frame it as that
Correct.
accountability coach.
Yep.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm gonna help you build your marketing business because I'm gonna hold you accountable to XYZ and all this other stuff. But what they frame it as is, I'm the number one marketing coach. I can get you 1,000 clients a day or whatever, doing, working 2 hours a week, and then you're gonna have this, 8-figure business or whatnot. But it's like, it's that you're selling tickets, man. You're selling tickets, and what you have to understand is as you as a consumer understand, like Tara said, show me the receipts behind this. I love, and I'm gonna give her a shout out, King Ashley Ann. She's like this marketing social media person. She consistently posts her bank account online, and she does just what you do. She'll show you her convert kit. She'll show you her bank account. She'll show you the month at a glance. She'll show you the year at a glance. And it's transparent, and it's like, I'm making money, right? But you get with these other coaches, and a lot of them, when you start asking questions like that, or how should I make the improvement, or when should I expect the improvement to happen? And they're like, man, you just got to keep working. The work never stops. And I'm like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm paying you to get a particular result, right? Otherwise, then we should just partner up in this and hold each other accountable to this. Now, here's the thing. You talked about framing it correctly. Sometimes, and I'm gonna put it to y'all this way: the fitness industry is a billion-dollar business. We know at bare minimum, eat better food, lower your calorie intake, exercise. And to be honest with you, Tyrus, depending on how some people are built, I'm like, does the calorie intake actually even matter? Or is it the quality of food? Because I'm like, my man has a 6-pack and he eats 6,000 calories a day. Um, so does it really matter? Like, that's a different topic for a different day. But the question is, so you get with your coach, and again, y'all start working out. You previously haven't been working out. You start eating better food. Previously, you would eat McDonald's for breakfast every single day with a large soda. You were eating a whole pizza for lunch. You were eating Popeyes for dinner. And then you say, oh my God, you're so amazing at your job because I've lost so much weight. Well, did he make you lose the weight, or did she make you lose the weight, or was it that you just stopped eating crazy? And there's these drastic changes. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in there, but there's these super drastic changes, and people are like, man, this is so wonderful.
And the credit that I would give at that point to the coach is if they made that identification and they were able to help them with the mental block that they had.
Correct.
And then hold them accountable. But that person doesn't become the end all be all, which is what we try to make coaches when they just target specific things and you make a change. You're still doing the work as the consumer. They're not doing the work for you. So don't get wrapped into, oh, this person is the end all be all. I can't do it without them. No, they gave you a piece of information, and now you're paying them to hold you accountable to stick with it, and just keep it at that. But once that accountability or trust drops, kind of like in the whole Jack situation, what is he the guru of? The advice he was given was trash anyway. I'm not afraid to say it because he wasn't given solutions. He was giving the woman solution of just kick them and curb it. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. Don't work with them. Don't talk to them. They shouldn't be doing it. He wasn't really building up. When you're not building up, you're not giving good solutions. And I think Corey, his following got big because he spoke to a part of a human that, one, wants to feel empowered, but two, wants to feel in control. So if I cut you
Mm,
off, if I kick you to the curb, if I get rid of you, if I call you all kind of names that I got a little bit of control. It's a little bit controversial. It's a little bit negative, and we feed off of that, and so you grow your following based on that. Which is why another thing that's evident is all the posts that get likes, comments are controversial on social media, unless you just have a huge following. But even then, you'll get more views on a negative video. I guarantee you his stuff didn't went viral now if it wasn't that viral before. And so another industry that I want to jump into before we get into some principles is the real estate industry. The real estate industry is notorious for coaching and preying on individuals. When you go to these seminars, and like you were saying, Corey, before we jumped on, you sit in these rooms, you have somebody tell you the story how you can make millions in real estate. They got this program. The program's normally $20,000, but in the back, if you sign up right now, we'll let it go for $1,500. Think about that price drop. When you're sitting in a situation, whether it's real estate, fitness, coaching, on any other kind of coaching, when you're sitting there and a person tells you the value is 20 grand, but they'll drop it to 1,500, the value was never 20,000.
correct.
Ever. It wasn't. You've never went to Lamborghini and they say, you know what, the value of that Lamborghini Eldorado is 180,000. We'll let it go today for 80. Never. I ain't never seen a Ferrari on sale. Some products do not go on sale because they command the value. If you put your coach, if your coach drops his price, now you can have Black Friday. You can do like 20% off because we know that everybody's going to charge and they're going to get some profit. So there's some wiggle room. But when you start seeing stuff that's 80% off, it
Man, I was just about to say that.
it was never worth the value of it because now they want you to feel like, oh my God, this is such a great deal. I can't lose out. Because
Hmm.
psychologically, we know we have a loss aversion. Something, hey, I can't lose this deal. We have scarcity mindset. It's only a few left. If the first 5 people to come sign up right now, I give it to them 1,500. The rest of y'all is gonna go back up to 10,000. And then you go back and people throw each other over the chairs to go sign up. Only Corey, and this is what happens. Once they sign up for that 1,500, you know what happens? Well, later, 6 months later, we got this mastermind.
Yeah.
Mastermind's 20,000. If you want to go to the next level, you have to get into it, or you're just gonna be stuck here. So now they roped you. They got their beak wet with the 15
Hmm.
to rope you into signing up for what you were gonna pay for anyway. And so you got to be wary. Those type of people prey on people. Should you pay for coaching? I'm telling you, yes. But you need to pay for a coach who has proven results, who's not afraid to show you their results, whether it's by bank account or by testimonial. Vet the testimonials because my goodness, I can go and I can get my cousin down the street to give me a fire testimonial. You don't know him. I don't half know him. We just know we cousins and he gonna set it off for me and you gonna believe him. So vet the testimonials. Ask them, hey, can I see what's the change? Can I see the change that it made? Can I see the money that you made if it's business? And then sit on it and think about it. Really think, does this make sense? Should I give up my last dollar? Because a lot of times in those real estate seminars, Corey, people be giving they don't be having that money. They be giving their last savings, their what they have right there to try to make a deal, and that deal never comes. Which is why in the real estate industry, you have some people that are super successful, but most people just end up buying a program and they never do a deal.
Yep. And who somebody, as you were talking through that, talking about receipts and show me, I think one of the biggest people I've seen today at least is Alex Good Energy, and he has this trucking portal. And man, I never see him post every now and again. It might be like a holiday sale on how to get in. I very rarely ever see he himself post join the here's this dedicated posts to you joining the right. So he has a call to action in his posts all the time,
Mhm.
but it's never like join the portal, do this, whatever. It's always somebody, and when you're talking about results, it's always somebody posting that they just bought a truck. Man, I just got a load for X amount of money. By the way, I did it in my first month dealing with this portal over here, and they'll tag him in it. That's that's it. Like all of the stuff that he does, and at a certain point in time, you get so many testimonies. It's like, yo, come on now. Like you can't find that many people alive for you. But it's every single time I hear about him, it's because somebody said, man, I did the trucking portal. I got these types of loads my first month. I'm about to get a second truck, or I got my first truck, or just to even do simple things like, man, I now have my truck in my trailer, or whatever, or whatever's form. That's still progress in your business. And it's one of the things I want to kind of talk about in this, especially as we get into the last half of it. How do you become the guru then? So we talk about how, these are the things that you don't want to do as a coach, but then how do you become? Because is it that you have to have done what it is, right? Is it and one of the people I'm thinking about as I'm saying this is his name's like Stephen Labasseur or something like that. And he's a life and relationship coach. And what he said was, he said, I can give people advice on being married. I'm not married. And y'all don't quote me verbatim on this. He said, I can get people advice about relationships. I can almost kind of be a therapist for someone, but I'm not a therapist. I'm not married. So, but the reason why I'm able to do what I do is he said, is because I'm always on the pursuit of knowledge and how to do it, and case studies and getting actual information from people. That way I can speak from my perspective. And then I can also say, well, look, this is what people say about this. So I'm gonna kick it back over to you though, Tyrus, because how do you become the guru if that's the case?
So let's start with the definition. Guru is a Sanskrit term for teacher, guide, expert, or master of a certain knowledge or field. A guru is also one spiritual guide in their religion, in Hinduism and Buddhism, who helps one to discover the same potentialities that the guru has already realized.
Hmm.
So when I read that definition, I was like, teacher, guide, expert, or master of a certain knowledge or field. And then the end, they help you discover the same potentialities that the guru has already realized. So, how do you become a guru? I think it was, who was it that said 10,000 hours to make you an expert?
What was it?
I see his face. I can't think of his.
Yeah, with the books, Outliers, all that.
But we'll,
Gladwell, Malcolm Gladwell.
so if we go with 10,000 hours, some people refute that, but we know that to be an expert, however you define expert or master, you got to go through some time. Time, first off. So, how do you become a guru? Time in the game. I never seen a 10th degree black belt become that overnight. And you know what, Corey? Even let's stay in martial arts. No matter what martial arts you are, there are certain degrees that you can earn, and then there are certain degrees that are given to you after a certain amount of time in the game by a
Mm,
board of masters already. They at the top
mm,
already. Once you get seven, and it's different for each one of them, but once you get 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, then those extra degrees after that, black belt, you go sit in front of a board of everybody that's got those degrees, and they say, okay, now you can have it. Now you're ready. Now you've dedicated. And I promise you, all the people that I've seen do that, they've been in martial arts 20, 30 years before they get there. So, one, how do you become a guru? You got to master the field or have the knowledge of whatever field specialty that you're in over a long period of time. I would say number two goes back to what the guru has already realized. You got to have been through some things.
mm-hmm.
I honestly don't want, and this might not make sense to some people, but it'll make sense to those. If you know, you know. I don't want a business coach that hasn't failed, because if I hit the hard road or the patches, how are they gonna help me get out of it? Now, that's not saying, well, if I go to a marriage counselor or a marriage coach, I don't want a marriage coach that haven't been through a divorce because they know how to come back. No, but if they've been on the brink and they know how to survive and build a relationship back up, that's somebody I want to talk to, because that's somebody who I can say, you know what, my marriage is great, but what happens if it gets close? They've been there, they know how to get out of it. So being through something over long periods of time, showing that you have expert knowledge. Like, I don't want a handyman that knows how to do a little bit of everything. I
Mm-hmm.
want specialists. That's all they do. A guy told me one time, I was getting some floors. I asked him about some guys that he has that does floor and hardwood. And I said, you know what, if they gonna do the hardwood, can they do the tile? He was like, they can, but this guy, all he does is hardwood. He don't do
Mm.
nothing else. He an expert in laying hardwood floor. And when he laid that floor by himself, he did it faster than what I've seen crews do it in, and it looked better because he an expert. And so on your journey to finding the guru, you want to make sure they've been in the game a long time. I don't care how smooth or sweet you look, you ain't a guru after 3-5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You just not. I don't care if you made $1 million, because 3 to 5 years is not enough time for you to go up and down. And we know that business or life goes up and down. It's just not a long enough time to ride the cycles. That's like saying if somebody got rich in 2020 in the stock market, they're a guru. Well, you caught it on the down, you bought in, it's coming back up, you made some money. But when it cycled back down again, are you going to be able to ride that wave and come back out? Be sure that the person been in the game a long period of time, they specialize in that field. I would love to see some credentials. They're not everything, but show me that you've done some type of research or work or something. And then show me what you've been through. I want to see the scars, the bruises, the bumps, the bankruptcy filing, I almost lost everything. I want to hear those stories to let me hear how you came back up. If you listen to our gurus, our Tony Robbinsons, our Eric Thomases, our Les Browns, Jim Rohns, Bob Proctor, all of those guys, every one of them has a story. Every one of them that's considered the gurus in motivational speaking, they came from, and man, Jim Rohn said he had a nervous breakdown like more than once in his 20s, in his middle life, and then he was able to come back and learn. And so if you're looking for a coach, if you somebody, or you see somebody who's a self-proclaimed guru, step through those things and make sure it's real.
Mm-hmm. Man, and one of the things for me is, and you touched on it, something like, I want somebody who's been through something. And I think what I want people to pull from that is, your coach or your guru doesn't necessarily always have to be the best ever in that field. Like, I think about Phil Jackson, right? He wasn't the best player, hell of a coach though.
Yeah.
Now we can argue that he's one of the best coaches to ever coach basketball. We can think about, even to certain levels, right? Like, I'm thinking about Doc Rivers, for example, right? I think he's with the 76ers right now. Yeah, he's hopped some teams, but how good is he actually to have coached on that level, right? So we can say what we want about him. Maybe, oh man, he hasn't won any championships or whatever. But still, for me to get to a certain level, can he show me what I need to be done? Or are you going to go find the brand new, and this goes back to time, right? Are you going to go find a brand new middle school coach that's took over their first team, and that person saying, man, I can build you a championship team today? Probably not.
Right. And it's going to take time. If you've never done it, you can get lucky.
Yep.
They're going to take you time. And to that point, Corey, Yeah, they don't have to know everything about what it is. Phil Jackson was never the greatest player, but what Phil Jackson was good at, he was able to capitalize on it, which is taking the great players and helping them realize their potential and putting a system around it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you got to be good at. You got to be good at the thing that you are great at and understand how to tie it in with other people. I'm not the best marketer, but I can give you some key principles and procedures and rules that if you go and you apply these, you'll be able to market your business
Yep.
pretty good. Now, I'm not gonna say I can set it up for you and do everything and make it be beautiful because those aren't my skill sets. But the nuts and bolts of it, I can teach you. And then I think another thing, Corey, I'm gonna throw it back over to you. I think a guru knows when they're not the guru in something. And then they start building teams around them. And I've never seen a guru that's just solo.
Yep.
They always got some people in the background with them. They always have, and you might look at it and see, well, I only see ET on the stage, but you don't see all the other people behind him doing the work that he doesn't want to do. And I love him and CJ because what they say all the time is people look at us and say, man, you're a beast. You killing the game. It's like, because I'm only doing what I'm good at. I don't do
Mm-hmm.
nothing that I'm not good at. And that goes back to thinking about what's your genius? What's the zone that you operate in? What are you great at? And are you killing it in that, or are you trying to be what you're not? Which is what a lot of these coaches are. I'm a branding leader. I'm a disc coach. I'm a ex coach. I'm real estate coach. But they never done anything in that to a high level, and they're trying to take other people with them.
Yeah, and you know me, like I've been since we've been rocking together. Okay, what what do you help people with? Look, building team culture, workplace culture, that type of stuff. Why? Because that's all I do. Like if you have, and I know for some of y'all are rocking with me as y'all are listening to this, they will tell you. I was even having a conversation last night. One of the guys said, "Man, I never been on your team, but you're the leader that we need, but don't deserve." And I was like, "Nah, it ain't all that." But because of who I built myself and because of how he knows me, he's like, "Yo, I know you have my back." Like I'm he ready to rock for me. He ain't never worked for me before. But one of the things is, I think that people have to understand you got to stop. You got to stop changing what your guruism is, right? First and foremost, like you can't be self-love today, then all of a sudden I'm scaling six to 7 figure
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
Let's not. You have to continuously become that guru, right? Like I think about Tony Robbins. I never hear Tony Robbins talk about anything outside of business, claiming your personal power, personal development, and things along that line. I
No.
never hear him talk about anything outside of that. I never heard him talk about how to become a better real estate investor. I think unless it's like with Dean Grazios or something like that. I've never heard him talk about how to become this self-proclaimed author. I've never heard him say, hey, if you wanna lose 40 pounds this month, come to Tony Robbins camp or whatever. Never heard him talk about it before. But what you have is you have people who say, I'm a chef, I'm a personal development coach, I'm a sales coach, I'm a real estate coach, I'm a publishing company. You never hear them talk about that stuff. They may be doing it, but that's not what they're telling you that they do, right? So they become known for that. And I think there's power in continuing to tell the world, continuing to tell, even to bring religion, to continue to tell God, this is what I'm doing and this is who I am. And and like Tyra said, you operate in your genius zone. Man, I so many people, and you know what made me think about it is Dr. Phil too. Dr. Phil, as far as I know, he's not even that highly regarded as like a therapist. But he branded himself as the guru, and he has these talk shows, and all you see, and I just want y'all to take the principle of how he branded himself, though, not necessarily if he's great at it or not. But when you think of Dr. Phil, you say, oh, he's getting to people's traumas and all that other stuff on his show. Now, here's the other part, too. We talked about time and we talked about stuff that you have to go through. The reason why we regard Dr. Phil highly, Dr. Oz, all those people highly in the medical field is because they got TV shows. And so the people the people in the field are like, and they're really not that great of a medicinal, whatever you want to call them. They're really not that great, but they got a TV show, so everybody says they must be great. The majority of people then say they must be great. So I want you to start to think about, what are you doing to position yourself as that person validly, but also, if you think about it still, how good of a therapist, how good of a doctor are they really? Because they do that every day. You got to shoot the episodes, you got to talk it out, you got to like, they can't go on TV acting like they don't know what they're talking about. That in itself will make them better than the average person. Like us being on this podcast right now, there are people, and I remember CJ told us this, Tyrus. He said, you trying to call yourself a speaker, but you only speak when you have to speak.
Yeah, right.
So you don't have any platform outside of when you decide to shoot that one video you do all week that you don't speak at all. But you expect to be the number one speaker in whatever your facet is in the world. But you want to become the number one speaker in that area, or the authority in that area, by doing one video a week, right? Like, are you speaking on other platforms? Like, I speak at least 2 to 3 times a week. So, like, what are you doing to actually build that skill set? We talked about Malcolm Gladwell at 10,000 hours, right? It very well could be that 10,000 hours is the thing, and we just lose track of the time after a while because we're just doing it so much. It's just, I think that we have to start doing, and we have to start becoming, again, repetition, being better at it. Like, I look at some of my old videos that I made. I'm like, yo, that was hot garbage. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure 2-3 years down the line from now, I'm going to listen to myself speak and be like, yeah, that was trash. But you got to keep doing it, right? And then all of a sudden, then people catch on and they be like, man, this guy Corey, y'all ever heard him before? And then that's when you start to blow up, right? So I think that Tyrus gave y'all really every gem that I really could. Is you have to put the time in, you got to put the work in, because let me differentiate that for a second, Tyrus. Putting time in is not the work. Right. Like, just because you're working in your business, I just had this conversation the other day. Are you productive or are you busy?
Exactly.
Because that's two different things. We're actually getting work done here. Over here, it just seems like I'm getting a whole lot of work done. I ain't got nothing done. So I want you to understand, as you try to assert yourself as the guru, and whatever that is, you could be the guru in your household. And I'm gonna just talk to some men right now, right? Because again, going back to Derek Jackson, how are you the guru in your household when you don't take care of business as the guru in your household, right? You want to be the authority in your home and be the man, I guess you could say, but you don't do the things to command the authority of the house. You know what I'm saying? And no, I'm not talking money. I'm not talking who's the breadwinner. I'm not talking about all the stuff. Are you giving sound advice? Are you guiding your significant other? Are you putting the household in a better position? You know, whether that's mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever that may be, there's something that you're giving to your household that could assert yourself as, okay, I lead in this household, right? You can both lead within your relationship, but there's a lot of times where I have conversations with individuals. And again, I'm just speaking for the men in this case, because we talked about Derek Jackson and some other stuff, that you want to, again, be the authority and you want to be the guru, but your actions don't show that you're the guru, right? And that could be with your kids, at your job. Look, Tyrus, you know how many people I run across daily that's like, man, I can't believe I didn't get promoted. What did you do good at the job? Right. They just sent somebody, they just said, because I told you they sent us back to the office or whatnot. Somebody was in there, I went help them up because they were having tech issues. And that person said, man, I can't believe that they sent me back to the office. Man, you know, I'm not a rating of 5. Yeah, you know, I'm rated a 4.5 this month. I said, oh man, that's what's up. I said, what were you last month? Oh man, I was below a 3. What about the month before that? Man, I was below a 3. I said, what about before that? What about what's your performance appraisal for 2020? Shoot, I got a raise. I said, well, all you had to do was be a 3 to get a raise. That's all it was. And not make so much money to where your performance, you know, inhibited you getting further raise because you didn't perform enough to warrant a further raise than that. And so all of a sudden they started looking at me like, dang, you might be right. So no wonder they sent you back to the office, because you're not an authority at home. I can't, you know what I'm saying? You're not performing the way that you need to, but you expect people to give you that back and just be like, no, where you're supposed to be the guy, the girl, like the woman. Like I'm gonna get off my soapbox, Tyra. So what else you got for us?
The only other thing I have with what I would like if I was looking at somebody and I say, okay, this is a guru, I want to see what link they have to other people. And what I mean by that, I want to know who their coach is, what group they're in, what associations they have, because then that'll show me the elevation and the possibility of them continuing to grow and then for me to grow. That's why when you look at a Jim Rohn, he's always talking about Mr. Earl Schoaf. And Mr. Earl Schoaf goes back to, I think, Napoleon Hill. And so if you could tie some things back, and then from there, Jim Rohn goes down to Tony Robbins. So Tony Robbins has a link. I want to see who the links are. I want to know what connection they have with other people. E.T. talks about talking to Les Brown, talking to Bob Proctor, Warren Buffett. Okay, now he got some people in his circle that I can see, okay, that's the next level. I want to make sure that the guru has a circle of gurus around them that are killing the game too. So there's a link. If you go and ask your coach who their coach is and they say, well, I don't have a coach, you better pull the plug real fast. Because if they don't have a coach, then who's making them better? How are they getting better? And no person out there, I don't care if they've been in the game 50 years, they don't know everything. There's just
Yeah.
no way. It's too much information, too much knowledge, and there's just no way you can become an expert in all these different things over a lifetime. You the end all be all. The only person I know that might be like that is the last surviving known ninja master.
Gotta be.
He probably the only person that know everything about being a ninja, and I guarantee you, he's passing it down to an individual that may be passing it down just because they keep a closed knit circle and they don't teach it to everybody. That might be
Yep.
the only person. Everybody else, they better have a coach.
Yep. Yeah, and that's something that you and I even talk about too, because we even had that conversation with me. I said, man, I'm looking to go a different route, right? Like I'm looking to go to get a different perspective. Well, who should I look at to do that, right? And that's the other thing. Don't be afraid to go get different perspectives from different things. What you see a lot of times is you'll see, okay, I get one coach, and then they just ride with that coach, and they never see things from a different light, a different lens, right? And so the thing is the question is, do you start to walk the same path? Do you start to only know that route? We talked about the disc one time, and I sent you a picture, and I was like, man, look at this. All of a sudden they offering the disc too.
Yeah.
Like, come get certified through this plan for the disc. And I was like, yeah. And they probably have a completely different perspective than this other group to get the disc. Right. But it's not saying that it's wrong, but it can help you understand that different coaches, different ways of doing things. Y'all know I like to make sports analogies. There are just certain coaches that players get around and they just play. Like I think about right now, Patrick Mahomes, man, is a beast. I'm curious to see, because a lot of people fail in the NFL because of this. I'm curious to see, would he have the same success without the continuity of that same coach? Right. I think that's when you can become dangerous, when it's like whoever's around you, you've gathered enough information that it's like, I just know what is right. Like I know what needs to be done. Yeah. So that, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that, Tyler. So y'all gotta get the information.
Yeah. So as we wrap this thing up, I think we gave you enough. We told you what a guru wasn't. We told you what happens when guruing goes wrong. You can, anytime you want to see when guruing goes wrong, just look on social media. They're going to tear down whoever came on and lied. If it's a pastor who lied, if it's a prophet who lied, if it's a relationship guru who cheated, if it's a real estate guy who was supposed to be built, I ain't going to even put all that out there. They're supposed to be helping, taking people money and consolidating it to build new communities, and they stealing the money. It's going to come out. You can take steps to prevent yourself from being wrapped into those situations. And then when you're looking for a great coach, and they tell you, well, I'm the guru, which a true guru ain't gonna never tell you that. They're not gonna just walk around and call themselves the guru or the master or the best. They're just gonna do what they do, and you're going to see it in action. But if
Yeah.
you're looking for a guru, make sure that's somebody that's been in the game a long time and that they have already done the things that you're looking to do. If they haven't, go find somebody else. I don't want to
Yep.
go to an accountant to talk about losing weight. It don't make
Yep.
sense. Maybe a great accountant, books tight, but they ain't gonna help me lose no weight at all. They may know numbers, but they don't
Yep.
know body mass and metrics. And so, with that being said, Corey, you got anything else?
No, man. I just think that I really hope that you've pulled today, and it made me think about this, right? Just the empowerment platform. What does success mean to you? Now, we talked about being a lot of guru on social media, and then I just started talking about that, and I just had that thought in my head. Can you assert yourself as the guru in your life? Like, can you assert yourself in a guru in your marriage, for your kids, at your job, with your friends? Like, and the reason I say that, even as it with your friends, I'm not saying be the show off in your friends, right? But when you bring yourself to a certain level, your friends raise up with you, right? And so when you bring yourself to a certain level, your marriage does, your kids do, they look at a different perspective from there. So I want people to, even if you don't want to start a business, you don't want to be a brand or do anything on the social media, you can still be a guru in the space of your home and the space of your friends and the things that you do. And so, man, I just want to challenge y'all to take charge of that and really become the guru in your immediate home, meaning yourself. If you have a significant other, whatever projects that you're working on, be the guru there first, and then you'll branch out and be the guru to somebody else.
No, that's dope. That's dope. So definitely take that challenge on, and we want to see you drop it in the comments. Drop that you committed. Drop that you accept the challenge, that you'll be the guru in whatever lane that you're in, and then start to take the steps, walk the path, and really become that expert in whatever field it is. If it's in the house, if it's in business, if it's in whatever, just be the guru in that. And so we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Empowerment Platform, where our mission is to empower you to reach your goals, whatever they may be, and help you dismantle the guru syndrome. We'll catch you next week.